Hi guys, it's Glenn here from Albert. Welcome to Beyond the Blend episode 2, a podcast to inspire you all to make a change by opening the doors of our startup while blending in inspiring weekly guests. It's 4 p.m. here. I am in the west of Belgium, near to the seaside. We are setting up production at our production partner. It's 4 p.m., so means the production day is ending. We had a crazy week at Albert's, many new team members also joining. We have Pascal, he will be our lead software engineer. And then we have Celia, who will be starting now. She agreed this week. She will be our innovation project manager. Welcome, Pascal and Celia. The market today is not easy, it's a bear market. What is a bear market? The bear market is the opposite of a bull market. The bear market is actually a market where the economic activity is going down. This means bad news for many industries, bad news for many innovation segments. However, also opportunities. So today, big news about Sally the robot of Chowbotics, which was acquired by DoorDash last year, is shutting down operations. DoorDash is canceling the salad robot. My heart is hurting. Food robotics is a total new scene, and the healthy side of food robotics, it does not have too many members yet. Salads are definitely healthy. I love the idea of jumping in anywhere and eating a salad where you go, composing your own ingredients. There were big challenges, however. We've been following their development closely. It's not easy to do a fresh food machine. If it's pure fresh, every 48 hours you have to replenish, meaning you have to throw away your food and you have to clean your whole installation. I'm really sad that this whole ended. It was a big startup with tens of millions of funding over the last year, so it's really big news. The articles still indicate that investors are still bullish, meaning very positive towards food robotics startups. However, things to watch and see which trends will continue. I strongly believe with Alberts, with our frozen pure ingredients, we really have an edge on the market to get an operational and financially viable solution. So we keep on building right back here. Our team has been working hard on our first steps internationally. We can unfortunately not say too much about it yet because we're still missing some official news. Once I can, I say it here. What I can already say is that Hans is having a good time in the UK. He's setting up our machine. He is setting up the tests we're doing. Steven is our international sales lead. You can see him here. Will be at the TUCO conference next week in UK. TUCO is for universities, so very eager to see how the market works there and how our solution is appreciated and what people think about the opportunities together. We've promised one reviewer a t-shirt. The design is made specifically for this podcast in our merch drop, so the link is in the description. Here you can see the winner. Thank you very much for your review and have much fun with your t-shirt. A code will be in your inbox this week. The action is still ongoing. Write a review, write what you think about the podcast, and we will select every week a winner for a free t-shirt, Albert. It's an exclusive t-shirt. After our action in the next weeks, it will go away forever. So you absolutely want this, so go get it. The podcast today is the second one in line. We are setting up the basics for this podcast. So in this next one today, I'm happy again to talk with Sebastian. Last time we were talking on why the hell are we doing this? And now we'll be talking about how are we going to do this and what are we exactly going to do. So a good conversation with Sebastian again. The next podcast, I can already say next week, is our first external guest. It's an amazingly nice guest. I'm not going to say his name yet. It was a super cool conversation. So enjoy this week with Sebastian and looking forward to see you next week. Have fun, have a good time. It's hot here in Europe, so we're sweating on 40 degrees. Love you all and enjoy the podcast. Bye-bye. Okay, good. Welcome back, everybody. I'm still here with the beautiful and delighted Sebastian.
Thank you. Happy to be here another time, second time.
We wanted to switch clothes because we wanted to make it look as if it's another day, but no, it's not another day. It's the same day. Right now it's about 12 o'clock. So we are, midnight, Sunday night. Last time we've been talking about the why. Why Alberts? Why the podcast? Let's give a short recap maybe afterwards, but I think today what we want to talk about, and it's maybe just as important as well, is like, how do we want to do this and what do we really actually want to do. So, short recap, right? So, why Alberts? We want to make a healthy life the easiest option. And we want to do that in a very transparent way. So we took the angle of food tech and food robotics. You can still see our beautiful device and colleague Kes in the background. And then why the podcast? Why the podcast is because we want to inspire people to take a deeper look at at tech startups. In our case, food tech startups. And by taking a deeper look inside, by opening the doors, so go beyond the marketing and go beyond the corporate branding, we want to show people what it is inside and actually inspire people to join efforts with a tech startup, because often that's a place where where change can start, where innovation can start. So if we can get more people in that direction, we can get more innovation to the market. So that's a little bit the why. Now, why is Sebastian here? Sebastian will be our podcast leader, we can say.
Yes, podcast producer. I will be doing the recording, the editing. I will make sure the podcast looks and sounds great. I hope so, at least. But I'm looking forward to it very much, and yeah, I can't say enough that I'm happy to have this role at Alberts. And I really think I'm really convinced that we can really have a meaning with Alberts in this space. Like we really want to have an entity, or like we really want to have this evolve to, so that people can really see what Alberts is and what we can, what tech startups really mean, and what the day-to-day is maybe, or what the struggles and what the nice stories are. Definitely. So I'm really looking forward to showing that in the form of a podcast.
Yeah, actually, I now only think about it. We don't know who's listening. So a tech startup comes from technology startup. We should start at the basics.
And more specifically, food tech.
Exactly.
Right?
So with Alberts, we're active in the food tech world. It's a world where, for example, people invent how can we grow meat without having a cow or another animal. It's a world where people think, how can we maybe use insects in our food? How can we, for example, use AI to make people eat healthier? And then people like us are in the segment of the food robotics world. And in that segment, people try to look, how can we use robotics in order to deploy more healthy products to the market? Or at least that last part is our mission.
Yeah.
So not everybody is using it in that way. Yes, well, in the last podcast, I've said that it was somehow a journey or a struggle in order to really focus on like how or like why are we going to do this? Because I knew it was the right direction for us, but why really, and what's our angle to it? So we just talked about that, but just as difficult. And then again, a shout out to Kes, who has been doing a lot of the grunt work together with me, like walking week through week of her internship. She's behind us here in the picture. Coincidentally.
Shout out to Kes.
Yeah, she's still there coincidentally. Just as difficult was the how and the what. So I think let's try to summarize that now in the next 10-15 minutes. So it will be video. Let's start there, because many podcasts are actually audio. Times are changing. And I think if you open your doors, you open them entirely, right? These days, if you want to be honest to somebody, you don't call. You do at least a FaceTime or a video or WhatsApp call, or you meet up. So I think that was clear, right? There's going to be video. Today we're sitting here, actually, maybe we didn't say that. So we're sitting here today in Antwerp. We're going to show way more of our building where we joined the company Voxdale. Voxdale is actually the main renter of the building, and we are one of the startups which are here for a very long time. We were here day one when Voxdale moved in here.
Really?
We joined as a client partner. Maybe that story is better for another time in a longer version, but the short version is that we were searching for a technology partner, so somebody who had engineers of different expertise at our disposal. And Voxdale is an engineering office or a product and design office. So they have engineers in different fields, and basically they are for hire. So they have clients who say, I have an idea, or I have a concept, or I have something to improve, or I have something difficult. Can you not, with your team, solve that for us? And the first day, when Foxdale moved to this building, we joined as well. Maybe talk about, so we want to show what we are doing. We will not be vlogging every day, every minute, because that was my main worry, to be honest, and to be very frank there. My main worry was that this would take a lot of our time. And I think it's fair to say that Alberts is far from safe waters. I think you're never really in safe waters, but I mean, a stable company at least, who is having a profitable business, who is having a profitable long-term business where the model is proven, where long-term relations are set. We are not there. So that means that we are in a constant daily rush to get towards that space where there is room to start new stuff. Now, at the same time, we need to make sure that we are on top of our stuff. And this, for me, is a big part of it. So my main worry was that we would put a lot of energy in this and a lot of focus, while actually we need our focus on the product and we need our focus on our clients. That is what we need to focus on. So I think now we found a really nice format where I feel very, very, very comfortable even. So firstly, it's you, Sebastian, because you're joining in such an inspirational way and you will take the lead on the whole production side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think everything in the podcast is linked to the second core value of Alberts. First one is healthiness. The second one is transparency. So being transparent for us is one take only. We're sitting here. We start recording. It's midnight again. But we start recording and we go all the way until the end.
Yeah.
So if something goes wrong, that's okay. The whole idea is to show how a company works. So also a podcast can go sometimes wrong. Like in the last one, where our cameras, all of a sudden, all three of them went down. So that is something that in my mind gave peace, because I knew, okay, it will be so we're going to upload every week. Maybe we should iterate that. It will be every week. It will be medium format. So long would be hours, short would be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but this is going to be like half an hour to an hour. So it's decent format. So that is something I really like. One take only. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. If we swear, we swear. If we need to go to the toilet, okay, maybe then we need to take a break. But and then maybe the most important thing is we're gonna invite guests. So that's actually atypical. The first two are, I mean, we are the guests because it's the first time. But we're gonna invite guests
from outside the company. Also international guests.
International guests as well.
And business partners and just interesting people that Alberts has a relation with, or you have a relation with.
Exactly. I think what we want to achieve is that we give all insights in towards that company, and it includes talking to all partners. It includes talking to people who we are very thankful to, so ranging from investors all the way towards business partners that really gave us many slack, a lot of slack, as they say. You know, they gave us a lot of credit. They gave us a lot of. Basically, they were very patient with us. But also all the way towards people that inspire us. Because we have the mission to inspire people, and there is no better way than getting people who inspire us to get them towards this podcast. And the international part, as you say, is something that we're very much focused on. So although we're from Belgium, we do this in English. We want to reach as many people as possible, and Flemish is not the most.
Yes, and even if you want to reach as many people as possible in Belgium, you're still gonna have to talk two languages, which is not ideal.
Exactly. I don't know if everybody who's listening maybe one day knows Belgium, but Belgium is a very small country in the heart of Europe, as they say, although it's actually totally at the west of Europe. But it's the capital, Brussels, of Europe. Belgium is maybe, sometimes they say mini Europe, because we have different cultures, different languages in one country. On the north we speak Dutch, on the south we speak French, in the heart we speak both in Brussels, although mainly French. And then on the east we still speak German. while actually there's also huge communities who speak Turkish, who speak more Persian languages. I was at my Iraqi haircut today, so many languages at the same time. So we do it in English, but also we try to get international guests on the pod. So we're thinking about like-minded entrepreneurs that we really aspire. So we have high ambitions on the level we want to go maybe one day. Yes. People who already had a career, who maybe have stories from the past to tell us. Real innovators who have stories of the future to tell us. And the format will be just like we do it now. So the idea would be that we invite somebody for a conversation. So it's not an interview. It's not
scripted.
It's not scripted.
Yeah.
So the rule is, of course, we are prepared. So we don't just join here and say, hey, what we're going to talk about, we don't know. So, of course, we will have a conversation up front with a guest of 5 minutes where we say, look, we are thinking to talk about this or that. But there's no script. There's just a preparation where we say, what kind of topics are cool? What do you want to talk about? Of course, we love the one take only format. But, of course, our guest needs to be familiar or, how to say, comfortable with it as well. So that's why we're going to work with the intro formula. So the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of the podcast, we will talk, let's say, what's going on in that week. So it's a little bit vlogging style, but like a mini version of vlogging style. And we
want an update. And
exactly. So I think our mission is not to give lectures, right? Then go to university. We want to talk about the stuff that's going on this week, the stuff that is really touching us on that moment, that's difficult on that moment, that's going very well at that moment, that's exciting at that moment. So it means that in the first 10, 15 minutes intro, we'll be working with what's going on, what's hard, what's not, and really give an insight in the company before the guest is there. We continue that conversation while the guest is already at the table, so the guest can feel a little bit at ease to not have to start all of a sudden.
Of course.
And then we just start the conversation. So the topics that we're going to choose will be relevant also for the period we are in. So maybe some examples that we're thinking about, like we cannot say who yet, but we're partnering with a bigger brand. So we would love to get them on the podcast. So if you're listening, please be prepared. We're going to invite you very soon.
Looking forward to it.
Hey.
The podcast.
We're working on production right now where we have struggles, like big struggles to get all components there, to get everything aligned with our producer. So yes, we will be talking with people in the hardware space who have been doing productions already, what their experiences were, what their struggles were, what their struggles are still today maybe, or their challenges. We're going to talk about many insights of the team. So guests don't always have to be external, right? So in that sense, this is not an exception. Like today and last podcast as well, Sebastian is the guest because he will be the podcast leader. But at the same time, it's really our goal, just like you've added, right, to give insights to the team, to bring everybody here in this podcast.
For the people it would be nice for them to get to know the people at Alberts, apart from you then, because you will be here every podcast.
I will do my very best. I will do my very best.
Production side, I was thinking about giving a shout out to Stan.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to having him on the podcast.
I know you like Stan's humor. So.
That will be a really banger of a podcast. But more to follow. I would definitely tune back in. There's loads of interesting things to come.
Definitely. We're also gonna dare to look back. We had our also on the team side. We're very happy with a team that stays for a long time. We have people like Lenny who were here as a first student and then as a bachelor student, master student.
Shout out to Lenny as well.
Definitely. He's been working on all the logos of the podcast and everything. So he's our artistic leader now. So we had many great people who stayed on board for a very long time, but of course on every story is an end. So we had co-founders leaving, we had colleagues leaving, even actually now. So I think all these topics we also want to touch. Team is most crucial in a startup. So we really want to give an insight. How does that work? How does that roll? What do people think about it? Honestly, like
Yeah.
maybe I have to zap out there sometimes from
Mhm.
the conversation. Yeah, and then I'm super curious to see it evolve. We made it our almost secret mission, not secret, but we made it our mission together with Guess and then you and me to get this started, to not distract the whole team, because like we said, it's today crazy busy with the production and with expansion abroad. So I mean, the heads of everybody are exploding. So if you would say, hey, let's all think like nights in a row about a video podcast, people would go crazy.
That's why I'm here, you know.
Exactly.
I can take a bit of the responsibility.
Exactly.
And I'm glad to do it.
And you will do it great. And I'm really thankful you're there. So I think we kind of sketched the main goal. We're going to upload weekly. We still have to choose the date, actually. I mean, the day in the week to do it.
Probably Tuesday.
Right.
But we will notify on all platforms when it will be. But stay tuned on all our platforms, I would say.
Yes. You mentioned something good, actually, the platforms. Maybe that's something on the how do we want to use this? So we know why we want to do it, but how do we want to use this? So why, at a certain point, there was really a click in my mind why I really loved it on the efficiency side. So firstly, it's a one take only. So it takes an hour a week, plus some preparations with the guest, which is maybe half an hour. So it's really doable. But in a small company like ours, we try to build a brand, but at the same time we have, if you look at all the departments we have sales, we have marketing, we have hardware development, software development, we have food safety, you know, it's like operations. So it's like quite a bunch of jobs to do. And the thing which is always missing in a small team, today we're a team of approximately 10 people. So we almost have 10 departments and 10 people, so everybody's pretty busy. And the thing which is always missing, which marketing is always asking me, is where are the photos? Like, where are the photos? Where let alone videos, you know, because videos is already crazy next step. So where don't you have photos? You went to that event, where's your photo? Which I understand, but very often this is just not there. So, of course, we do some professional steps with like making professional video material, but that is like a one shot, which we do every quarter or every half a year. But I mean, that's one day. And where I really love this concept of a video podcast where we can look and where we can talk, is that we will have a bunch of content where the marketing department can start cutting, can start extracting quotes, can start extracting pieces of information from the guest or from me or from anybody of the team, where we say, look, this is a really interesting part, which we can push, for example, on LinkedIn, which we can push, for example, on Instagram, on Facebook, maybe in the future on TikTok if we go TikTok. So that's what I love, that we will have a bunch of information, and that somehow in all of these weeks we will be able to
have a diary, have like an evolution, have content, and like you said, it only takes an hour for the guest, an hour for you, for your time, more hours for me, but I love to do it. But so it's condensed, like it's an hour of footage, and it's gonna be valuable in the sense that there's gonna be really a lot of insights.
Yes, great. I think that encompasses a bit everything we want to do. So we had the why, we had the how, we had the what. I think this was a great first time.
Yes.
We've been working 5 hours on this setup.
It will. I think our preparation was important, and now like the next steps will follow.
Yes.
For so it becomes a habit.
Definitely, we can get it rolling now.
Yes, and then it will be. We're gonna go on a roll, I think, after that.
Definitely.
So it will be fine.
Definitely, I think we deserved a good piece of sleep. We'll be back here 7 or 8 in the morning.
Not long for you, I guess.
Sebastian, it was a real pleasure to do the first ones.
Thanks for having me, and it was nice to do the first podcast.
Yes.
Or podcasts.
Yes, the 2 first ones. The next one will be with a guest. So thank you all for listening to the first one. We see each other next week. Start of an adventure. Bye-bye.
Bye.